Hello and welcome to Summoner Spam. I'm Joseph, and today we're going to talk about two of the most iconic ladies in gaming, Princess Peach and Princess Zelda. Or more specifically, we're going to talk about some of the tropes that they inhabit. I'm also going to be sharing my own personal views on these characters with you. First up, Princess Peach. Our beloved monarch has been with us since 1985, debuting in the original Super Mario Bros. Since then, she has been our staple damsel in distress, being carted off by Bowser and or his children in almost every core Mario series game. Outside of the main series, she's been known to wield her emotions like weapons, kick soccer balls with enough force to behead her opponents, and smash brothers with her surprisingly explosive hips. Now let's talk about those tropes. This episode we're going to focus on two tropes specifically, the well-known damsel in distress trope and the less considered barrier maiden trope. Now, you all know what a damsel in distress is, given that it's probably the most cliched trope in all of gaming, cinema, and writing, in that a damsel in distress is a character, usually female, who is kidnapped by an antagonist and used as motivation for the main character or player to go about saving the day. But what exactly is a barrier maiden? Well, a barrier maiden is someone, usually a woman, whose very presence maintains the balance of good and evil in the world. She is what keeps evil at bay and enables others to live normal daily lives. This trope typically leads to the forces of evil to resort to subterfuge to subvert her authority and subsequently turn our barrier maiden into a damsel in distress. The barrier maiden originates from the Miko or shrine maiden role found in the Shinto religion. This role was and is held by women who perform sacred dances, convey the words of their gods, and other religious or even political functions. Where Peach is concerned, the barrier maiden trope has been downplayed since her debut. In the original game, her power was needed to restore the kingdom to order after she had been kidnapped, but that changed a bit when Bowser's intent changed from conquering her kingdom to winning her affections. He doesn't so much remove her in order to curse her kingdom anymore, he just plain kidnaps her, though there are a few games nowadays where he's starting to emphasize his conquering ways again, but that always comes after he kidnaps Peach. Whenever this happens, the kingdom tends to fall into chaos the moment Peach is removed from her throne. Goombas run rampant while Toads get turned into smashable bricks. But the moment she's returned to power, order is miraculously restored. Toads roam free and there is cake for all. The Mushroom Kingdom effectively has two states, one of chaos, represented by Bowser's rule, and one of order, represented by Peach. It's because of this that I like to think of the barrier maiden trope as the more important of the two tropes to associate with Peach. I mean, let's think about this for a moment. Peach's mere presence is enough to maintain order in her kingdom. It's because of her everyone is allowed to live normal lives, free of the worry that some sinister turtle beast might be lurking about. Even Mario and Luigi get to be simple plumbers. Peach bears the burden of maintaining society upon her shoulders, and it's only when she is overthrown that Mario has to worry about anything outside of his job as a plumber. And even though Mario may be the one to save her from Bowser's clutches, he isn't the status quo for the Mushroom Kingdom. He isn't the one governing the kingdom or maintaining order. He's a knight who is called upon to reinstate the status quo for little to no reward and nothing more. When it comes down to it, yes, Mario has the long, thrilling adventure, but Peach has the actual job of maintaining a kingdom and keeping its enemies at bay. Yes, she spends an awfully large amount of time making cakes and playing sports, but those are only a few sides of her that we see. Unless there's a SimCity or Civilization Mushroom Kingdom edition out there that I don't know about, which should totally be a thing, I'd play the hell out of that. We may not know much about her, but we do know that when she's in her castle and there's cake to be had, then all is well with the world. Now on to our next leading lady, Princess Zelda. Zelda got her start in 1986 in the original Legend of Zelda. Like Peach before her, Zelda deals quite heavily in the damsel in distress and barrier maiden tropes. In most Zelda titles, this princess is usually relegated to the role of a support character. In some cases, she calls directly upon Link to save the Kingdom of Hyrule. In others, she takes a more active role in safeguarding her people. It's also important to note that every iteration of Zelda is different. Unlike Peach, who is just one character throughout a major series of games, each Zelda has her own way of doing things or her own specific set of wants or desires. For example, one wants to spend her days sailing the vast seas of her world, while another likes to take on the disguise of a Sheikah and take a more active role in subverting Ganondorf's plans. Yes, Tetra faces the issue of becoming a passive character when she assumes the role of Zelda during the latter half of Wind Waker, but that in and of itself will be a subject for another video. One thing that does link every Zelda together is that each of them embodies the aspect of wisdom that sits separate to the power and courage aspects that Ganon and Link embody respectively. And I say this specifically because not every Zelda is in possession of the Triforce of Wisdom. There are some Zeldas that the Wisdom Triforce has been seen to just naturally gravitate towards, but there are other Zeldas who simply didn't have it, but was implied to be the wise character nonetheless. Zelda as a character in each of her incarnations has always done her best and tries to make what she believes is the best decision. Even in instances where she couldn't do anything herself, she always found a way to facilitate Link's adventures. Now, like the princess before her, Zelda embodies the barrier maiden trope, though in a much more literal sense in some cases. In many of the games, Zelda and sometimes the 7 sages or maidens are responsible for keeping Ganon locked away, or they protect the power he needs to overthrow her rule. Even the sages and maidens themselves are amigos for the temples or shrines they represent, but Zelda effectively outranks them by being a Sain, which, from what I've researched, is basically a princess who became a high priestess. She cares deeply about her kingdom and utilizes her knowledge and skills to keep it safe. She's not an action hero, but a tactician. Zelda often sees Ganon's bid for power coming, and as such, sets in motion the plans to keep him from it, or, failing that, to take it back from him. Zelda may be a damsel in distress, but she doesn't just sit around and wait. Even if it's just calling out to Link from time to time, Zelda ensures that our hero of time is on the move. It's because of this that I don't particularly enjoy the way others sometimes paint these characters. Because of the damsel in distress trope and its overemphasis in character reviews, both Peach and Zelda are often demoted to the status of object. Yes, the damsel in distress trope is a valid means by which to estimate the worth of a character and their place in a story, but it isn't in any way the only point worthy of note where these characters are concerned. I personally have never thought of either of them as prizes or objects to be won. I thought of them as people who needed my help. Within the context of the fantasy that Peach and Zelda's games provide, I think of them as the representations of order and peace. More along the lines of, we need them, not they need us. These two are some of the most important characters in gaming history, and I think they deserve more credit than what is often given to them. With all that said, what are your thoughts? Did you ever think of Peach or Zelda as rewards or objects? Leave a comment down below to let me know. Thank you all for watching this week's Summoner Spam. If you liked the caricatures depicted in this video, head on over to DeviantArt to check out Adara Colander, better known as Camius. Take a look down in the video description for a link to her gallery. Thank you and have a wonderful day.